Hello once again, welcome to the PokerStars Arena and the final table of the main event of the Spring Championship of Online Poker. This 10K No Limit Hold'em event had 654 entries. Over the last 3 days, they played down to the final 9. Those 9 players will play down to a champion tonight who will receive the first prize of more than $1.1 million. Exciting stuff. I am James Hartigan, alongside me, Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my $1 million babies.
Joe, it's been so much fun following this over the last couple of days, and I feel that we've got to know the players. We've seen them play through the bubble. We've seen them play down to the final table, but only one of them is going to get that trophy. Only one of them is going to walk away a winner.
Yeah, not only have we gotten to know their poker playing style, but I feel like just a little bit of their personalities too, through the chat box, through the throwables, and obviously through their triple range merges.
Well, the final table's underway, guys. Let's get straight to the action. First hand of the FT, and it's a win for Welcome Inferno. Takes it down pre-flop. We pick up the action with 15 minutes remaining on the 250,000 500,000 blind level. It was Berryuzi who was the last player eliminated last night. Bubbled the final table in 10th place. Good game, sir, but these are your final 9. And personally, Joe, I'm excited that we still have 2012-19, the Lithuanian player who is our qualifier, in for just $215 and guaranteed a 6-figure score.
Yeah, guaranteed not only the best score of their online career, but a score that matches all of their other online scores combined. Sorry, beats it.
It is Welcome Inferno who wins another hand there, who comes into this final table as the chip leader. Playing from Austria, just 70K in PokerStars earnings. Doesn't play that often, but when they do, they play high stakes, and had a deep run in last year's WCOOP main event, a 112th place finish that was worth nearly $18,000. Well, we have Dejan Kalajerdovic opening here with King Jack. And raise and take it. Let's introduce our first analyst of the evening, Griffin Benja, back with us on stream. Griffin, you're just in time to see Ace Jack versus Aces.
Here we go, right away. I think I should say hi, everyone, first of all. I just get a little excited when there's
Hello.
Aces for the qualifier here for 2,001,219.
And we do have the open from Ace Jack. Min raises to $1 million. So here is the question, Griffin. How does our qualifier respond? Playing a below average stack, average being 18 million, starts the hand with 13 million.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to play as, you know, just a clean 3-better shove. Be fun to mix in a call here, but it's just not something you'd ever see.
13 million is not exactly the stack it used to be, is it?
No, it's not. And we get the 3-bet to 3.6 million. And the fold. So yeah, as we would expect from any final table of any MTT, significant jumps with every single elimination, with every single payout. Right now, it is the Bulgarian player, Acho Bogdanov, who is the shorty with a sub-10 big blind stack. Vlad Dari Poker playing a sub-20 big blind stack. And Ramoculus opening here with Ace-King.
I can't think of a single mistake Ramoculus has made. Seems to be a pretty solid player.
I mean, I think it's fair to say we haven't seen too many mistakes. The biggest mistake is Centaurus still not changing that avatar. I still have to look at that cat with lipstick and eyeshadow.
James, I got to tell you, if there was something that I was doing that was upsetting you that much, there's no chance I would ever change it.
Yeah, that's not eyeshadow. Those are black holes, James.
It's Story checks out. Dayan opening the button here with ace, king of diamonds. Vlad Dari, the short stack, or one of the two short stacks, in the big blind with the Grafton, 10-9 suited.
Yeah, this
You're
might
Romania.
play as a shove for Dari Poker, expecting a lot of fold equity from the big stack of Dejan here. Dejan? I always forget. There it is!
And there is the shove, and
Dayan.
there is the call with ace-king. 10-9 live cards, but diamonds, full house on the turn. And the diamond on the river is irrelevant. Full house versus flush. And Vlad Dari gets the double up to nearly 18 million, putting some distance between himself and Bogdanov, who is still short. The chip leader, Welcome Inferno, has aces.
You're Romania.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, it's one of those spots, I think, if you're watching and you think, why would you go all in with 10 high for 15 big blinds, playing for over $1 million? Well, you know, it's one of those situations where you're expecting to get a lot of fold equity from a wide button open range from one of the chip leaders, and just happen to run into a big hand that you're, you know, over 30% against, and it worked out.
Yeah. Ramoculus has the spraggy ace-7 offsuit and does not
Nice
defend.
fold.
Wise decision, sir.
Told you he doesn't make mistakes. No
let's
spraggy
talk
level
about-
errors here.
Let's talk about the geographical distribution of the players at this final table. We've got Welcome Inferno, the chip leader, playing from Austria. Centaurus, as we know, is a German player. Dayan, very famous, put Montenegro on the map last year, becoming the first player from Montenegro to win a scoop, and won 3 titles in total in last year's series. Monzeman is the other player in Austria. Vlad Dari is in Romania. One more time, Joe.
You're Romania.
Thank you. Our qualifier, 2012-19, is in Lithuania. Aziz Mancha is the last remaining Brazilian looking to make it title number 67 for the South American country. I stand corrected. We have 3 Austrians at the final table, Ramoculus being the third. And last, but by no means least, we have Bogdanov playing from Bulgaria.
It's a lot of Austrians.
Yeah, a third of the final table.
Year of Austria.
Griffin.
Sorry, Year of Romania.
Just going to say that Austria's had enough success.
Interesting spot here for Ramoculus. Really going to put to the test Joe's theory about never making any mistake. Because you could make an argument to play this hand as a 3-bet, as a call, even as a shove.
Well,
but Ramoculus, yeah, makes the fold.
I know a short while ago, Griffin, you said that people may question the 10-9 shove from Vlad Dari, which got him the double up. By the way, the chip leader flopping best here, pairing his 7, because the 7 is always coming. I was going to ask that with Bogdanov sitting there with just 4 million chips, does that mean that in that spot Vlad Dari really shouldn't have been doing that? And also, does that also handcuff Ramoculus as well?
I think that there might be some incentive with these blockers and recognizing how wide that Dion is opening, that you could justify mixing in a 3-bet just to find spots to pick up chips. You know, you have really nice blockers to some of the big hands. It's going to be hard for, you know, a hand like Ace-9 to continue. So you wouldn't necessarily have to risk. You know, I mentioned shove as an option, but wisely pointed out that, you know, it really isn't one with Bogdanov's 4.2 million chips. But, you know, it's kind of cool to just make it, you know, 2.7 million there and force out some folds from hands like the wide range that Dion is opening. You know, we saw the King Jack under the gun, now the Ace-9 here in early mid position. So definitely going to be opening up wide at this final table.
Well, the ace on the turn switched things around, and Dayan does now have the advantage. 2.8 million in the middle. And a bet of 500k from Welcome Inferno.
Yeah, just a classic 1/6 pot block bet. try to set the price when you're losing, and which Inferno is.
Well, Inferno still
Damn.
with the advantage right now as Dayan moves into second place on the leaderboard ahead of Centaurus. So ace-8 suited for Romuculus. And this is Leon Sturm from Austria. Used to be a streamer, but doesn't make content anymore. Has opened to 1 million. Welcome Inferno has jacks in the small.
Something very intimidating about Welcome Inferno's whole vibe, from their playing style to the avatar to the name. We don't know who it is. It's all very mysterious and scary.
Inferno has 3-bet to 2.75 million. Romuculus moves all in.
Uh-oh.
Well,
And gets called. Needs to see an ace or hearts. No ace, no heart. It's a full house for Welcome Inferno, and we get our first KO of the final table. Romuculus out in 9th place, and
No
Bogdanov
mistakes.
can celebrate. That's an additional 25k. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, Joe cursed him there. No question.
mistakes.
You're such a mush, Joe.
Amok. Ulyss.
Well, Bogdanov might get it in here after Dayan opens with ace-queen offsuit. Ace-queen of diamonds. The virtual all-in, 3.5 million, leaving themselves just over 500k behind. And now the chips are going to go in. We could have a chop on our hands here. And Bogdanov, however, gets there with the diamonds and gets the double up through Dayan.
Everyone
Not
loves
a
a free
chop.
roll.
Absolutely.
Except the person getting free rolled.
Despite that double up, Bogdanov still playing fewer than 20 big blinds and still the shortest stack at this now 8-handed final table. But I'm still pretty certain they'll be very, very happy about that ladder. And just to clarify, Griffin, I know we had a laugh about it. Do you consider that ace-8 shove to be a mistake?
Yes. I mean, we've talked about how, you know, some of these pros, most of these pros, really value the suited ace hands, more so on the wheel side as 4-bet shoves. But, you know, recognizing that the chip leader has the opportunity to put on a lot of pressure. That's really what it came down to. If any other player at this table made that 3-bet, I don't think Romuculus would really even consider 4-bet shoving. But Welcome Inferno has the chip lead, going to look for places to put ICM pressure on these middle stacks. And if anything, it goes to show, you know, how brave and willing to trust their instincts Romuculus was, and it, you know, seemed to serve them all tournament long, as we were watching so many times on the feature table, playing so well. But sometimes you're wrong when you go with your instinct, because, you know, it's about a percentage of things. How often is that person going to wake up with it, and how often are they going to be bluffing? Decided was going to be bluffing more than wake up, and even when wake up, 30%.
Yeah. Well, this is practically a flip post-flop. Sevens still ahead, but Vlad Dari actually the statistical favorite.
So, Dandaman asking me, Joe, who else has been playing good? Who should I say is, who should I get now?
Playing well, you mean?
I mean, I'm reading it verbatim. You can ask them if they mean playing well, but
You could have. I mean, it's your job. You know, you can edit it on the way to the stream.
No.
I think.
I think you're kind of missing the point of the post, Griffin, and I was going to say, Joe, maybe it's time to keep your opinions to yourself and stick to the Danger Zone's Year of Romania's and Chip in the Chairs.
I think you should curse Monza Man. Just pick the first name I saw.
I think Aziz Mancha has been playing really well. I think Aziz has been playing great.
Oh, Joe.
GG Aziz.
Later. All right, because the same person has said it twice in the chat, I think we need to address that. Keelan Z is asking if I look like Badger from Breaking Bad.
Yes. Thank you for your question.
So a bet of 2.5 million that gets called, and Vlad Dari now up over 21 million.
Here, Romania.
Well played there by Dari Poker, playing that passively the entire time, giving an opportunity for Welcome Inferno against a hand that appears to be something like pocket 9s or 8s, so you would just be notched with those 7s, but really it was the trapping ace-jack.
Chip leader with another solid hand and opens to 1 million with a
Joe.
Joe's pick for the title, as is Mancha. Ace 4 in the big blind.
I gotta go.
4 and
Oh, no,
spades
come
folded.
on.
Look at the 4 and all the spades folded.
It
Joe.
is a domination situation, and it is all over for Aziz Mancha. Joe's done it again, bocking another player at this final table as we get our second elimination. Aziz Mancha from Brazil, cashing out for 127k. Welcome Inferno increases their chip lead, now has a 2-to-1 advantage, better than a 2-to-1 advantage, over Centaurus in second place. And Acho Bogdanov gets another ladder. By virtue of those two players making what you could perceive as mistakes, Griffin, they've earned another 74 grand.
Yeah, the pay jumps are big, and it's great to learn. Yeah, Joe, go.
There's only one way to put this to the test. Welcome Inferno is playing great. Is really just firing on all cylinders. Has not made a mistake so far this final table. Is the player to beat.
It's the lamest superpower ever. It's like, what's your superpower? Oh, I can make people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars by saying they're doing well. Oh, you look good.
just by complimenting someone, I can ruin their day.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, let's see how Welcome Inferno fares here. Opening with 7-6 suited under the gun. We've got Centaurus in the big blind with Ace-King.
This is quite interesting. I think you need to play this as a flat or a shove, really, for 40 bigs. You don't really want to be 3-bet getting in here, and we can see that Centaurus does go for the aggressive action, which I think is perfectly fine. You're going to get fold so often, you just take it down.
Ace-10 for Monzaman, who's been quiet so far at the final table. And I think that's the way to play it, quite frankly. Just let everyone do what they're doing. And, hey, maybe Bogdanov gets another ladder. I mean, having come in with fewer than 10 big blinds, you're thinking, all right, well, at least I've locked up 100 grand. If there's another KO, Griffin, Bogdanov's guaranteed nearly $250,000.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot, actually, for Monzaman because, you know, we see Inferno opening as wide as King-8 offsuit in early position, so Monzaman's not going to get a lot of opportunities to acquire chips. You know, you are technically in fifth in chips here, and maybe you want to just wait out, but maybe it would be nice when you get an opportunity with a hand like Ace-10 to raise, even if Inferno is going to probably continue in the big blind, but you can't fault them for wanting to, you know, stay out of trouble and just let these players bust. I mean, right here, Ace-6 going to play as a shove, but easily one of these three players could have woken up and suddenly, you know, you've jumped up another, what, 70 grand?
Well, should reference that the blinds have gone up to 300,000, 600,000 as Bogdanov gets involved, raising with Ace-6 suited. Meets no resistance, chips up to 9.5 million.
James and I were talking earlier about how, you know, we've had that dynamic for all these final tables. This could be trouble for the qualifier.
And this could result in the dynamic you were talking about, Joe, which is one player just amassing most of the chips and being able to bulldoze their opponents. If Welcome Inferno does the dirty here on our qualifier, that chip lead is going to be quite some advantage at a six-handed final table.
that's where I was going with this. That there wasn't a player that was the clear-cut chip boss, and there is about to be.
Oh, my word. The qualifier all in with ace-10 against queens. Needs an ace or running clubs. No Barry Greenstein, and we lose our qualifier. In for $215. Cashes out for nearly 174k. Welcome Inferno says, love this game. I'm not surprised. I tell you who else is loving the game. Bogdanov. Now guaranteed 238k. Who's next, asks Monzaman? It's a one-man wrecking ball. Have a hand every time someone shoves, huh? Welcome Inferno says, stop shoving.
It's true. Centaurus is the only one that didn't run into a hand. Guess I got lucky.
It's pretty absurd actually that the 1 and 2 in chips at this table have been waking up with. I mean, I guess Dijon lost that pot, but raising on the button, Welcome Inferno is going to be near 100% of hands and just has queens into the 23 big blinds of our qualifier. Just really unlucky for 2,001,219.
Oh, Bogdanov must be so pissed right now.
I mean, Welcome Inferno is closing in on a 3-1 chip advantage over Centaurus, who sits in second place on the leaderboard.
If I was these two, I would just milk this hand, not having to play against Inferno.
Yeah.
Griffin, you think Inferno's on a heater? My favorite part about today is that the best hand has won every single hand.
That's not true.
The Spraggy is good here for Dayan.
Beat ace king.
All right, take
Griffin,
it easy.
don't let facts get in the way. Welcome Inferno.
Might even open here. It's just really.
I was going to say it's.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I remarked that Monzaman needs to find some opportunities. This isn't one of them. I mean, it would have gone through, I think, but it's tough with ace 4.
Yoni arrives on YouTube and asks, what happened to Remoculus? What happens is, if a player isn't still at the table, there's a very good chance they were eliminated. That's generally how it works at a final table. So, Dayan with queens here. Opens to 1.2 million. I'm interested to see what Bogdanov's going to do here with King 10 suited, Griffin.
Yeah, there is some fold equity. I think it might be a notch or two too low here. And maybe not. It's tough, I think King Queen suited, King Queen off, you would go for it. Interesting playing it as like this 3-bet here, but it's essentially committing.
It's a virtual all-in, committed, and now is all-in. Looking for a king.
Not a lot of them out there, James.
Doesn't hit. That's it. Bogdanov is gone, but look, what a ladder. Came in with fewer than 10 big blinds, got the double up, sure, but really just outlasted other players and cashes out for $238,000. It has been fast and furious in the ready money round. We're already down to 5. Congratulations to everyone for locking up 325k. And congratulations the fact that someone other than Welcome Inferno KO'd a player.
Yeah,
I don't know, Acho. Acho had a strategy that was working. It was doing nothing. I do not agree with straying from that strategy.
Yeah, sometimes we joke about being home for dinner, James. You might be home for lunch. Just 5 people remaining. Been on air for 25 minutes.
And we get the re-raise from Welcome Inferno in the small blind, which gets a fold from Vlad Dari. And that is going to bring us to the first break. Wow, that was a fast and furious 25 minutes. I think the players need a 5-minute hiatus. Let's give Griffin a short break as well, as Joe and I check in once again with our Scoop correspondent. It is the final day of the series. Yes, the Spring Championship of Online Poker drawing to a close. We nearly, very nearly, have all the final stats. So let's summarize the key numbers and talk about the headline stories. With our man from the PokerStars blog. He's got the looks, he's got the brains, he's Howard Swains. Well, obviously, Howard, the Hold'em main events are still running, but the PLO main events concluded last night, and we had that replay of the high version on Twitch this afternoon. Talk us through the 3 tournaments.
Yeah, they were pretty huge too. So there was a 1.1 million prize pool in the 10K main event there. And there was a pretty well-known winner too. I'm sure you remember Nacho Barbero, the Argentinian former Team Pro.
Yes.
He plays as Poker Loans 1 on Stars, and he took it down for $226,000. He's got a ton of live results for that. It's his biggest online score and his first coup. The 2 other PLO events were also huge. Both smashed their guarantees. They both went to Hungarian players. NLZKM9 and Beast is Hungry. And last night we also had the big series savers and the massive phase events wrapping up.
Okay, so one time I entered a Scoop phase event, not realizing I have to wait 2 weeks to play day 2. I had to travel to Canada. Cost me way more money than I cashed for. Assuming I remember what phase events are, could you explain it to people who maybe don't remember? I mean, I definitely do, but if you could explain it to the people who don't, that would be great.
It's a true story. I
Like one of the
very well.
live MTTs where you have multiple starting flights. Now, these starting flights take place all the way through the series. So there's day 1s that begin before the series starts, and they run pretty much every day throughout. So if you get through a day 1, you take your stack into day 2 when you're in the money, and that's when the freeze out starts. You can enter multiple day 1s, which is why there's so many entries. I mean, in this time, for instance, the $2 low buy-in entry had 83,833 entries. That was won by a Swiss player called Rumpelstiltsky, who won 20K. I don't know how many times they entered, but it'll be a huge ROI. There were 55,000 entries in the medium. That was run by Pukini of New Zealand for 65K, and a player called Odd Dan 1 won the $55 high event. There was a prize pool of 1.2 million in that, and Odd Dan won 131K after a 3-way deal. So huge ROIs in those phase events.
Luckily, I was not one of those phase players that didn't show up this year. What else went down yesterday?
Well, you've been watching Dayan 357 and Centaurus at the main event final, and you watched them get there last night. They were also playing in other events last night, though. They weren't being exclusive to the main event, and Dayan ended up heads up in the enormous 1K series saver. He came second in that for 107K, and a Swedish player called Anonymstruts won it. And Centaurus, they played a $320 side event and won that. So they were multi-tabling and doing well in everything they played last night.
Howard, you may have buried the lead here, but I guess I'm going to use that as a pun. Are we burying Brazil? Did they win a scoop yesterday?
Yeah, they whiffed completely last night. Amazing, huh? I think they've probably given up by the sounds of it. Anyway, they've got 66 titles already. That's still a series record. It's going to be very tough to beat. And also the player of the series title, I know we're going to come on to that. Patrick Leonard is still leading that. After tonight, he's going to get that. So, that's going to be confirmed tonight once all the tournaments are done.
Okay, so briefly, Howard, where do things stand stat-wise?
1.2 million entries, 80 million in prize money, not including these Hold'em main events. We've got 6 turbo events starting tonight, and tomorrow we will have the wrap-up of all of it.
And, of course, we will get our final update from Howard on our Scoop Recap edition of the Poker in the Ears podcast. We will speak to you tomorrow, Howard, but for all the live stream viewers, thank you for your reports over the last 3 and a bit weeks.
You're welcome. It's been fun. Cheers, guys.
So Patrick Leonard will get a place in the Scoop Hall of Fame as player of the series, along with the winner of the tournament we're streaming tonight, the 10K main event final table. 5 remain, that's right, 4 eliminations in the first 25 minutes. Maybe it will slow down now, question mark? Either way, we're going to give Joe a break from the booth. Griffin back in the mix, and Welcome Inferno has such a big advantage right now, Griffin.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like you were introducing Inferno onto the commentary stream with us. She said, Griffin's back with us, and welcome Inferno. But just another pot to win.
Yeah, welcome Inferno to yet even more chips. 73 million near enough at the 300,000, 600,000 blind level. Dayan, the second biggest stack with 30 million. The shortest being Monzaman, who I don't think's played a hand yet.
Yeah, we spoke a bit about that in the, I was going to say last level, but the last half an hour. Monzaman not getting many opportunities to enter pots, with Inferno raising what appears to be, 75+% of the hands. One chance maybe with the ace-10 to open for Monzaman, but didn't take it.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll catch up, but play in the medium and low main events right now is a little bit slower. They are 8-handed in the medium and 8-handed in the low. Maybe we'll check on those tournaments during the next break. Pocket fours and a raise on the button for Dayan.
Yeah, curious to see how Dari is going to play this King-8 suited. I think that you can mix in some 3-bets here sometimes. I know Sam Grafton might even call in this spot. The 3-bet I don't think will work. I think we could probably see a 4-bet shove. So it is being played as a 3-bet, which is probably the most standard course of action. Going to get a lot of folds against the button opening range, but pocket pairs, I think, have to go all in the middle. A lot of fold equity because of the kind of hands like this that we'll be raising. The King-8 suited is the King-9 suited.
Yeah.
King-10 off, Queen-10 off sometimes. The ace-8s. So here comes Gengar. That's the avatar, James. It's a Pokemon.
Thank you, Griffin. Yep. And the fold from Vlad Dari with King-8 of diamonds. One Bop asks, do we know Inferno's PokerStars earnings? We do. 70k, which doesn't sound particularly high, but that's purely because this player does not actually take to the tables that often. When they do play, they are generally a high-stakes player, and this, of course, is a high-stakes event. $10,000 buy-in. Total prize pool with 654 entries, more than 6.5 million, more than $1 million up top. The 5 remaining players guaranteed 325k. Absurd sums of money still up for grabs, Griffin.
Absolutely. I just realized spelling Inferno wrong. 2 N's. What's the deal? What's with all those capital letters in weird places? You guys and your screen names. Full of mystery. Monzaman! My man!
Yep. Gets it in with 9s, and welcome Inferno. Unlikely to call this off with King-4. Folds. Monzaman is one of the last 2 remaining Austrian players. We had Ramuculus eliminated earlier on. Has 2 million in live earnings, in online earnings, but this is the thing I'm most pleased with. Do you remember the Big 20 Rewind series we ran last year, Griffin, celebrating 20 years of PokerStars? Monzaman won the 2006 event, which was the year of the Sunday Million. It was a recreation of an old school Sunday Million, and Monzaman took it down for 142k.
Wow. Oh, and the pressure Inferno is able to put on this final table, understanding the range of Dari Poker and how Dari Poker is going to be very aware of not getting a lot of opportunities to enter pots. So this under the gun spot becomes a very, a spot you really want to try to find opens on, because it is still technically the strongest seat. But Inferno still looks down at ace-5 and makes it 2.5x and forces a fold from a very playable for just 1.8 million. But what it can do It's just, oh, no, that's not
I mean,
fair.
I was going to say, what hope is there for the rest of this final table if Welcome Inferno is going to have 75 million chips and pick up hands as strong as kings?
But I don't think we'll get action. Maybe we could see a peel from Dari Poker now that Dari is clearly last in chips, try to flop some equity. But, you know, I think 7-4 suited would have given more consideration. 7-3 is maybe a notch or two too low. And how is Monzaman going to react to this open from Inferno? That's a big question. I would love to see a 3-bet from Monzaman here to find some spots to acquire chips. But again, there's some ICM pressure here. The difference between 6th and 5th place, almost 100 grand. But there is the 3-bet.
You mean between 5th and 4th, Griffin, which is more than 100 grand.
Wow, you're right. Jeez, they are dropping like flies.
But Munzerman does find the 3-bet, re-raises to 3.3 million.
And it's been a theme all tournament long and really all series long is these suited wheel aces and how much eggs. Yeah.
Welcome Inferno pulls the trigger, induces the fold, and now picks up kings again.
Oh, get real. We'll get a walk, though, which sucks.
Has 81.5 million, and now has ace-king. And what does Vlad Dari do here with sevens?
Yeah, bottom stack might just play this as a 20 big blind shove, and then we're going to get a big flip, but does just raise it. I don't think that that really changes whether or not these chips are going in. I think if Inferno just shoves, there's a chance Dari Poker might find a fold, but facing a 3-bet, Dari Poker will happily 4-bet shove it in, and oof. I think the reason the Dari needs to call is because Inferno probably shoves definitely shoves 6s, 5s, and then probably 4s, maybe even 3s and deuces. Sometimes the suited wheel aces, which you're beating, and then of course you're flipping against hands like ace king, ace queen, king queen, king jack suited will shove here. So I think Dari Poker could find a side fold, but it's side call, pardon me. But it's close. I wouldn't be surprised if we also see a fold and Dari trusts the post-flop ability in future implied hands. Certainly one of the most accomplished, if not the most accomplished player on the table as far as online results. What would you do, chat?
I mean, understandably, Vlad Dari using a significant amount of time bank to
I mean, you just hate
decision.
to call. Yeah, you just hate to call here and just be shown 8s or 9s. And, you know, and that's why we finally do see the fold from Dari Poker.
Yeah, pretty much tied with Munzerman at the bottom of the leaderboard right now. 11 million chips. Blinds going up in 13 minutes' time. Vlad Dari, we've referenced, is a Romanian player, has $6.2 million in PokerStars earnings, and their best ever result was actually a scoop title win. It was back in 2018 when Vlad Dari won a 2K for $240,000. So has already guaranteed himself a better result tonight. Guaranteed 325K, but of course everyone's thinking about the 1.1 million up top, but going to be hard to overcome the Inferno.
I can't help but appreciate the some of the sentimental responses we got to the caller fold, where they're just, it's like I'm asking them what they'd do if they won the lottery. They're like, I'd call, but if I'd lose, I'd go on a nice holiday with my wife.
Vlad does not connect with this board. Welcome Inferno with top pair.
But the queen of spades, but, you know, not a lot of chips to get speculative here.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think that it's sort of a min bet or a 2 big blind bet, and Dari had maybe the king of spades and a 10, would consider calling. You know, even something like this, 600K, I think you would call with the king high spade. So queen high, maybe Dari thinks I need to continue here.
Yeah.
But thinks better of it.
This is an interesting point from Shadow Clan. Seems like the rest of the table have given up on the idea of winning, and now it's all about the ladder. Have you been at final tables, Griffin, where there is a player who just has all the chips, and actually you've almost given them the trophy, and you're just thinking about which spot you can take between like 5th and 2nd?
Well, I mean, I would counter that sort of comment by saying, you know, what could have any of these players possibly done different in some of these spots? You know, it's not like Inferno's getting all of the best hands to fold all the time. Inferno's waking up with
criticism. It's more like an observation. I'm just wondering whether psychologically you just accept that this guy's guaranteed to win. I'm just thinking about where I finish between 5th and 2nd.
No one's guaranteed to win, but you need to find a way to get, as we see this huge clash here, and Monzaman in big trouble.
Queen's at risk, but way ahead. And Vlad Dari is going to double up through Monzaman, who is left super short with just 2.8 million, and now might get it in here with ace-queen.
Yeah, and might not get a customer either. You know, it's 4.5 big blinds. Most of the range, you know, I think someone would find something, but 9-3 off is kind of just have to give it to them here. It's actually plays to Inferno's favor here to keep Monzaman in with this very, very short stack anyway. So, you know, 9-7 off or, you know, 9-6 suited. I don't necessarily think Inferno should even be playing for those 4.5 bigs just because the price is right. This could end up all in. Yeah, suited Jack is going to be good enough.
That's the straight draw.
And there's the
and
3.
Hits a 3 on the river, so gets the double up to 8.3. So now playing more than 10 big blinds?
Yeah, and just sort of adding to what I was saying just there about Inferno, it being beneficial for Inferno to Monzaman still be in. If there's one all-in you want to lose as Inferno right now, it's to Monzaman, because it's going to make it so that you can really run over the rest of the table. You know, here, for instance, finding this open, I would love to see Monzaman shove this ace-8. It's a little tougher with 2 people behind, but oof, it's a nice pickup. You just have enough for some fold equity against hands like this. Not many better hands would be folding, though.
Does it? Pulls the trigger. And
there we go.
Welcome Inferno is thinking about the price, but nope. Let's go of the Grafton.
Yeah, I think anything under 6.5 million, we would have seen Inferno take the equity there, but again, you don't even really want to double him up at this point. You just want to kind of keep him around to be that short stack.
Well, this is blind on blind. Dari Poker versus Centaurus. And similar stack sizes around the 19 million mark. Pretty good board for Vlad Dari. The flush draw. Straight draw potential.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, Queen High is still the best hand.
But as far as turn cards go that aren't the 7 or 3, Centaurus does have a small path to a win here if it's checked through, but
Ace 5 off for Dayan. I can't believe, by the way, that after playing down to the final table last night, Dayan 357 kept playing, got heads up in another scoop event, and finished second for a 6-figure score. Meanwhile, Centaurus winning a side event that doesn't carry a scoop title, but nonetheless, a win is a win. Who loves it more?
yeah, the players are in there. Scoop is that time of year. Ooh, a nice walk from Monzaman. Yeah. And you can see what
Ace Queen.
Yeah, you can see how the game has changed a bit for Dari Poker, recognizing, wow, Inferno is really going to come after me. I had King 9 suited in this exact spot, 1 or 2 rotations ago, and now I'm just not even considering opening it. And Inferno now will probably be putting pressure on this 30 big blind stack and plays it as a shove.
Wow.
Oh, man. And you can't call ace queen even if you think you're ahead. You can't.
Gets the fold.
You gain so much money. You don't want to just be up against pocket fives there and lose. And that's the power of ICM.
And Vlad Dari with sevens again. Last time folded them to the shove from Welcome Inferno. Is this a case where you just call Griffin, take the flop, and pray that it's low?
Well, I think that's the more pressing question is what is Deanne going to do? With ace 10 in the small blind, you could certainly justify entering this pot in a variety of ways. Just as a call, I think Dari's probably going to want to just overcall. You're going to get a lot of folds if you just sort of shove the 30 big blinds here, but you can't risk, Dihan waking up, just like flatting jacks here, which is certainly something that they would do given that, second and chips. So that's why we see the call, and we're actually going to get three-way action.
Well, sevens are still good. Vlad Dari is a 2-1 favorite in this three-way pot. And looks like it's been checked to the chip leader, who was the pre-flop aggressor. Ace 9 high. Checks it back. Board pairs on the turn.
Yeah, and I think there's too much showdown value between the ace 10 and the ace 9 to expect to see any bets that would fold out the currently winning pocket sevens. And I don't think that the board is good enough for Dari Poker to put out any sort of protection bet. Certainly, there could be a sneaky jack around, but more than that, something like pocket 9s, pocket 10s would have played this as a check on the flop. Does actually put out that protection bet. And I think this is a very aware kind of bet, recognizing that, yeah, there are certain situations where you're losing here, but this way you don't give a free card to the hands like ace 10, king queen. And the question is just, we see the ace 9 call. Oh,
Gets there. Bloody gets there. Unbelievable. Oof. I mean, it could be worse, right? It could have been an 8 for the counterfeit.
It's all the same, James. It's the losing card. Actually, the 9 is significantly worse because if you're facing a bet here, now you have to make a decision as to whether you're winning. If the 8 comes,
Right, of course.
Good
point.
You check it or you. But this is just, and I'm telling you, Inferno's not going to be checking here.
Bet,
Don't
baby,
make it
bet.
look like a fool,
Welcome,
Inferno.
Inferno.
What is the size I need to bet here to get what I perceive to be an 8 to call?
Vlad Dari folds, and Welcome Inferno getting closer to the 90 million mark. How long is it going to be before the chip leader crosses the 100 million mark?
Inferno contemplating how greedy they want to be, how much they can get away with. Really considering the Jack 7 and wisely folds.
Monzerman opens with ace 10. Vlad Dari with king jack in the small.
Weird spot. Monzerman is going to have some raise folds here, but you don't really want to get in 10 million with king jack in this spot. A call plays kind of weird because it kind of looks like a hand like this, so it's not that easy to play post flop. So that's why I think we see just the fold from Dari with king jack.
Monzerman remains the short stack at this five-handed final table with fewer than 20 big blinds. Those blinds going up in 1 minute to 350, 700. It's another one of those funky blind levels. Ace-7 suited. And a raise to 1.2 million. I think we know how the chip leader is going to respond to this. Vlad Dari has Queen-Jack.
Ooh, trying to find spots to acquire chips.
You're just giving this guy more chips.
It's crazy.
There we go. Cold 4 to 7. Couple of folds and crosses the 90 million mark. 93 million. Better than a 3-1 chip lead over Dayan, who's second on the leaderboard. And look at Centaurus, Monzaman, and Dari Poker. Not that much separating them now.
Just seems like everything is going Inferno's way. Even in the one hand that Inferno was, lost and all in, it was to the opponent, the exact opponent you want to lose it to. 4 big blinds and creating more pressure on the bigger stacks by doubling them up. So just, you can't write it up any better to get up to this point, but a lot can change, if Centaurus or Dion doubles, it changes things, dramatically towards what will happen in the final 3.
Ace-7 suited is good. Vlad Dari chipping up to 15.5 million as we go to the 350-700 blind level. A reminder that this main event is played with 30-minute levels from the start, and we continue to play a 30-minute clock all the way through to the conclusion of this tournament. King 10 opens. Monzaman with Ace-Jack.
Yeah, I think we all know how this hand is going to go down. Bit too many chips, I think, to call with King 10 against a shove, and Monzaman's going to be thrilled to get this opportunity to put 60% of their chips in.
Yeah. What we like to call the virtual all-in gets the fold.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting to the point where Monzaman might not be the short stack for that much longer. A couple more hands like that, Griffin, it changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
Want to defend with 6-5 Centaurus? No, you don't.
And a walk. The quest for 100 million
continues. Get the Ace-6 open from Vlad Dari. Monzaman with Ace-5 offsuit. Calls, and it's domination rotation with a 5 on the flop. Continuation bet from Dari of $1 million gets called. 10 on the turn.
Tricky spot here for Dari Poker. We can see that another bet will win this pot, but when you're breaking down the range of your opponent, Monzaman's not going to have a ton of 5s. Ace-5 is one of them, but you have an ace in your hand. So the problem really becomes you expect your opponent to have some jacks, maybe even some queen 9s against that smallish bet on the flop. The 10 9s that won't fold on the turn. Maybe you can fold something like 8-7, but 8-6, is Monzaman calling that pre-flop? Probably not. But now that Dari has an opportunity here to represent a straight, a lot of queens in Dari's range, this might work out.
It is the straighty, flushy board. And Vlad does find a bet of 3.788 million, which gets a fold. The bluff gets through. Munsterman back in the danger zone.
Danger zone!
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Danger Zone, James, I went to go see a Danger Zone movie last night.
Say nothing, Griffin, because I haven't seen it yet. Now, I believe we will be reunited on Monday because we will be streaming the Sunday Million. That's right, we don't get many days off before we're back in the PokerStars arena. So we will have plenty of opportunity to discuss the movie.
Sounds good. Mon's been getting some great chances here to pick up chips, and it's going to happen again. Another 13-14 big blind shove. Going to get through. I've gotten a couple questions about the new Jurassic Park coming out today. Very excited to see Laura Dern. Such a gem.
Oh, we've got to keep that meme going, of course.
And Dari Poker now with a chance here to just shove it in there. But the ICM pressure is real. Look at the other stacks.
And you know that if... Oh. This is such a horrible situation for every player who is not welcome Inferno.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see that fold? It's so tough. Just not worth the risk.
Centaurus
Opponent snaps off ace queen.
defends with king 4, and ace high is still ahead. This potentially goes c-bet fold.
Yeah, and it's just, look, it's just a pot odds situation. King 4 off, I don't think is even a consideration for Centaurus, but King 4 suited, you already have one blind in there. It's not like you're committing yourself to some egregious ICM mistake. You're just trying to, this is a nut maker of a hand. So, see what happens, but it wasn't to be.
A7 of diamonds for Dayan makes it 1.4 million. Come on, give the guy something. You got 6 deuce of diamonds. Give it up. Let it go. Defends. And of course, pairs his deuce. However, top pair for Dayan.
Any opportunity.
So, is it going to be the 6, another deuce, running cards to make a straight, running cards to make a straight flush?
I'll tell you what, though. If we get the 5 of diamonds, I better see some straight flash action. That's all I'm saying.
If we get to the turn, and the turn is either the 3 of diamonds or the 5 of diamonds, you got it. Are we going to get to the turn? That's the question. Because
yes, we will get to the turn. Dion's really high up in his range here. It's going to be tough sledding. I think probably regretting betting because of the kind of pressure that Inferno can put on them, but
boring.
And it wasn't like this check raise was designed to fold out better hands. It's more of a protection, kind of take aggression sort of spot where you can just check raise and fold out some overs. King Queen isn't going to continue here, and it would have bet the flop. And Inferno has the license to do that. You can just put a lot of pressure and sort of do the unthinkable, which is kind of raise to see where you're at.
Yeah. Okay. Does Welcome Inferno go for this on the river? And can Dayan find a call with a pair of sevens?
It's extremely difficult to bluff this river because Inferno is effectively representing that they rivered a 10 or that they backdoored clubs. And the clubs especially is not credible because, you know, with the check raise on the flop, you would have continued when you picked up your club draw on the turn most of the time. So even though it has created 2 overs to the 7, Inferno doesn't know that Dion has a 7. Dion could just have pocket queens and be playing it cautiously, which is completely justifiable given the ICM considerations. So I think that I like the way that Inferno played that hand, even though they lost some chips, and I think that it was played well by the opponent.
Well, this is an interesting spot. Doesn't involve Welcome Inferno, but it does involve Vlad Dari and Centaurus. Ace-Jack and Queens. Ace-Jack suited opens to 1.4 million. Centaurus...
So this particular spot is really sort of teetering to either side of whether or not it's a cooler. Now that it's been effectively, you know, shoved, we can see like quickly the quick fold. Dari's just like knows too well. So I don't even need to get into it. It's just, you know, 11 million for Monzaman. Ace Jack suited as a very particular hand is one of those hands that looks pretty. It feels like close to a premium, but circumstantially, you just can't even consider it and just knows exactly what to do. And that's just a really, really well-studied player.
Yeah. Welcome Inferno wants to get back up above 90 million again. However, I love the fact that Monzaman is putting up some resistance. I love the fact that Monzaman's playing back against the chip leader.
And getting the hands to do it with, you know, they're certainly, some of them are pretty marginal as far as reshove hands, but when you consider and break down the kind of hands Inferno is going to be opening with, something like Ace-8 and King-10 suited, you know, really get boosted up in the value.
Yeah. So if you joined us late thinking that we might still beat nine-handed, oh, more fool you. Ramoculus was the first player to go in 9th place, followed by Aziz Mancha. Then went the Lithuanian qualifier, 2012-19. Qualified for $215, cashed out for 174K. And then Acho Bogdanov, who came into the final table as the super short stack, managed to ladder to 6th place and cash for 238K, leaving us with the final 5 and leaving Welcome Inferno with a significant chip advantage over the rest of the table. Queen Deuce versus Ace Queen. Not quite the rotation, a deuce for Inferno, but top pair for Monzaman.
Yeah, Inferno certainly has the chips to continue here with those backdoor diamonds and the bottom pair. Bottom pair is often not going to be good against the under the gun range here, but you have some potential. You think you're good if you hit a queen, which you're not. And then, of course, the diamonds can make things interesting. But with that turn card, I think Inferno is going to have to find another way to get back over 90 million, James.
I mean, I think Vlad Dari is regretting his decision not to open the button here with 7 deuce.
God. You sound like Joe. I knew he was going to bleed into eventually.
Oh, he's been doing that for years. Username 99. I literally just went through the finishing positions of the 4 players who've been eliminated so far.
More opportunity for Monzaman to get up to nearly 20 million with a shove here. Boom.
Yeah.
Inferno's got to be thinking, hey, I had 93 million a second ago. This guy's got to
I mean,
take it easy.
That's a good comeback from Monzaman to be hovering around the 20 million mark. Sits 3rd overall now. Vlad Dari is the short stack.
And you can see how Dari has been more willing to open up the King 9 suited in early position with closer to the 20 big blind mark than when he had upwards of 30. And I think that's because Inferno has more room to put pressure on the sort of the stack of 20 million as opposed to, you know, when Dari Poker opens here, with 12 million. It's hard to really 3-bet fold. Now,
Yeah.
Deanne here might just shove this suited ace, thinking that Dari's going to have a lot of raise folds, but plays it as the call, and it's going to go Dari's way on the flop.
Absolutely. Top pair for Vlad Dari. Kim has a question on YouTube. It's a Bond question directed at me. Was the name Goldfinger based on a real person? If so, who? Yes, it was. It was based on the architect Erno Goldfinger, who Ian Fleming was not a fan of, did not like his designs, did not like his work, so named a Bond villain after him. Interestingly, hashtag fun fact, just around the corner from me, there is a school that was designed by the architect Erno Goldfinger. More importantly, this is a street flash board. I get you all excited, and now I point out that the Jack of Spades was folded by Centaurus, but that's not important. So Vlad
continuation.
Up to 15 million.
Oh, we got 2 what is the street flash questions. You gonna let them know? Or is it only the really cool regs of the stream get to know?
There are some of these memes where the origin is slightly blurred in my brain. If I remember correctly, it was a player kind of smack talking and criticizing their opponent because they missed that there was a potential straight flush out there, but instead of writing straight flush, they wrote street flash, which
I think that's
created the concept of a street flash board, which is any board where there is a potential straight flush or a decent straight flush draw. Well, this is an interesting spot. We've got 3 pocket pairs here. The sailboats for the chip leader. Monzaman with 10s, Centaurus with kings. The open is to 1.47 million. The question is whether Monzaman just 3-bets or shoves here, because a shove is going to get called, Griffin.
And it's going to be a shove. You don't really want to open yourself up. Oh, it does play as a 3-bet. Okay. Very interesting. And this is, I mean, the reason you want to do this is in case someone else wakes up behind. So I'm impressed here from Monzaman. You know, it's one of those things where you 3-bet if, you know, Dari shoves and Inferno shoves, you just fold. If it just comes back to Inferno shoves, you call. This particular case, with how much stronger Centaurus's range becomes, I mean, this isn't a snap call, James. This is, you know, this isn't ace-jack for sure. Probably not even ace-queen, and that is an incredible dodge. You know, starting with 27 big blinds, the chip leader opening, just getting away from that is just great.
Ten-9 suited. The Grafton for Dayan. Not going to play it. Ace-king for Vlad Dari.
Yeah, and that, who's big blind are you opening against? That's what Dayan is thinking. I'm going to break Grafton's one rule. You're going to have to break your one rule if you want to win this tournament.
No, Gandhi, I can assure you that the Street Flash meme came from this stream and nobody else's. We make our own memes.
Inferno. Got a spot. What you gonna do? Apple Dees.
Makes it 5.2. And the fold from the fives. Well, again, marginal hands here. Ace 10, ace 9, sixes. We are currently on a longer dinner break, currently showing highlights from today's highlights as well as past broadcasts. Break countdown on screen. Something tells me that's an old command that we need to kill. Centaurus re-raising with the suited ace-9 back on Vlad Dari.
Well, Dari folds ace-jack suited to an effective shove. However, interesting to have ace-10 off and maybe be more inclined to put in the chips. Centaurus gonna have some 3-bet folds here. I think Dari probably will fold, but the consideration is coming from a place of, oh, well, you know, I don't actually have to be all in here. I have to put all the chips in there, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get called here, whereas the ace-jack, not good enough as a bet, a raised call for 20 bigs. But Dari might find the answer, really searching for it right now. And unfortunately, lets it go.
Yeah. So obviously we've gone through this entire session without an elimination, Griffin. Tom says, can we agree Joe is not spending his break cranking it? For Joe, this break is all about the sausage. And King 7 opening here. Welcome Inferno, still playing more than 85 million, still has the massive chip advantage at this 5-handed final table. I think someone was asking for an update on the other final tables. Obviously, we've got the medium and low main events concluding tonight as well. 7 players remaining in the medium, where, wait for it, Kasparov, ace-king suited, is the chip leader. And in the low, 6-handed, and it is a Mexican player, Elbia Arroyo, who's got the biggest stack. And I will happily inform you that in 10 minutes' time, when we go on break in the high, we will check in on the final table of the medium.
Nice.
Kasparov is playing from Canada, Lobster. F-Y-I. Well, this just keeps happening to Dayan, doesn't it?
But I don't think Dayan is going to stand for it in this spot. King Queen off would be folded. King Queen suited. Willing to actually put money where mouth is. Show me better.
Yeah. Stick it in his eye. So we've referenced this a few times over the last couple of days, but I think it is worth highlighting that Dejan Karađorđević is a triple scoop winner. Won those 3 titles in last year's Spring Championship of Online Poker and won them all within a 5-day period. First ever scoop champion from Montenegro. Monzaman with a pair of 10s. Straight draws for both players.
C. Mausen asks, is there any deal already? No deal! Deal or no deal? No deal.
I think with the current dynamic, Griffin, with the stacks as they are, Welcome Inferno is not going to entertain that discussion.
Well deducted. Well deduced. Carl says triple scoop winner equals 3 scoops of ice cream. Incorrect. A triple scoop winner were to be if you won 3 scoops of ice cream, as the river creates a straight for Dehan and Manzaman.
Does have 2 pair, so how much does Monzaman lose here is the question. 910,000, I guess.
Yeah. Very difficult to bluff this river as Dehan. So Monzaman's going to be aware of that. And when we see the raise, I don't think it's going to be that inclined to call.
Raise to 3.6 and a fold from Monzaman, who becomes the shortest stack once again. Blind still 350, 700k for another 5 minutes. Jack 6 opening. Such a bully. Well, Zardari gets it in with ace queen, gets a fold. Oh, Jacks versus 7s, Griffin.
It ain't right, James. The sick thing about this game is I feel like we can get so dialed in watching just all these amazing players bounce back and forth, trade pots, nice plays, great bet sizing. And, you know, most of the time the luck kind of feels like doesn't feel like it's egregiously in one person's favor, except in the case of Inferno here. But spots like this, it's just not fair. You have to shove every time on the button open range from Dehan. I don't care what any of you on Twitch might be thinking. Oh, just call. I'll fold. No, no, no. You got to go all in here. You're getting too many folds, and you're just 18% to bust in 5th. But sometimes the 7 is always coming.
Not this time, though. Jacks hold, and we do get another elimination. Going out in 5th place, Vlad Dari from Romania, cashing for $325,682, leaving us with the final 4, leaving us with 4 players guaranteed more than 445k, and a slight change in the dynamic in the sense that Dayan has massively narrowed the gap with the chip leader.
Exactly, James. And right away we see it coming to fruition. A hand that D-hand would not normally be opening under the gun with the previous dynamic, but King 3 suited, lets it get it going, raises under the gun four-handed, but gets out flop to start things off here. Oh!
Kings and 3s for Dayan now.
Ugh.
Yeah, these ladders are pretty brutal now. Next player out 445, then more than 600k for 3rd, more than 830k for 2nd, and then of course more than 1.1 million for the winner. Tell you what, Griffin, Monzaman very much in the danger zone right now.
Danger zone!
And clear separation between Monzaman and Centaurus. We very much have a single short stack right now. Completes with Queen 5, Dayan with 6-5. 2 hearts on the flop should delight Munzerman.
Yeah, but a free card to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outs. Wait. Yeah, 7 outs. Of Dehan. Not that one.
Okay. Has picked up a pair on the turn, but it is the flush for Munzerman, which means that Dayan is actually drawing dead.
Ooh, but a bet as big as 1.4. Nah, Dan can't fold. It's a gutter and a pair, blind on blind. Everybody's checked. Munzerman could just have, like, the Queen of Hearts. Which he does have. But he also has the 5 of Hearts.
Zeno says, how do we know they don't have this stream on the other monitor? What if they have it on the same monitor? What if they minimize the table and have the stream big in the corner? Or have the stream in the corner and just listen to our commentary while having the table blown up? It doesn't require separate monitors to have 2 windows open.
Yeah, but when you minimize a screen, that means you actually, like, I was thinking more you like shrink
disappears, shrink it. That's right. That's what I meant.
Like
shrink
you have
it.
your PokerStars table in one side, and then you minimize, and then you have the thing of us talking about the hands and what people should do, and all you see all the cards everyone has.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could use different monitors. You could use different devices. Like you could watch the stream on an iPad, for example, and maximize your screen for your poker table. But absolutely, I imagine that if these players are smart, they will absolutely have the stream on. Not for us, but for the information of what happened 30 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh. It's delayed. I always thought it was an honor system. Every time, that's what Joe says. There's a delay on this stream?
Well,
I'm in the
there's your
future
mistake,
right now.
Griffin. Mistake number 1, listening to Joe Stapleton. Mistake number 2, not reading. It says in the middle of the table, delay time, 30 minutes.
Wait, am I in the future or am I in the past?
You're in the present, but you're watching poker from the past. I know. Mind blown.
We got to get an almanac. This is incredible.
A7 offsuit for the chip leader. And raises with the Spraggy, 1.6 million. Gets folds.
Where we're going, we won't need Joe.
Munzerman re-raises from the button with ace-9 suited.
Sorry, Joe, it's the only word I could think of that rhymed with road. Dayon opens 1.6475 million. Oh. Didn't need to get creative. $69 of the big blind, giggity.
Has a gut shot?
Yeah. Pretty good chance to win this pot, actually. Going to be tough to defend the pocket fives against much aggression on future streets. Certainly depends on the run out, but... And also, depends whether or not Welcome Inferno actually gets there.
Welcome Inferno doesn't need to get there with the straight. Exactly. Has moved ahead with that 6 on the turn.
Vaults into the lead. 86.4%. And with that nutter gutter Well, not
Yeah.
quite a nutter. I just rhymed. A 4 will give Dehan a straight. A 5 will give him 3 5s. And there is the
It's
4.
the 4. But there is one key thing I would say about this board. And can Welcome Inferno rep a spade? Nope, checks it. Dayan checks it back and wins the last hand of the session. And we are on break. Two good pieces of news for you. Number one, we're bringing Joe Stapleton back into the mix. The second is we're going across the PokerStars arena to scoop 95M. We're going to the medium buy-in main event. The high's on break, but because it's on a 20-minute delay, we're able to follow the 1K final table, where 7 players remain competing for a first prize of 628K. So let's join the action during this 5-minute break. And as I mentioned a short while ago, it is Kasparov, ace-king suited from Canada, who's the chip leader right now and has the best hand. Top pair, solid kicker against the ace-10 of Rebozio.
I mean, in a way, this is more exciting than what we were just watching when you think about how many more players these folks have outlasted.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Starting
is a
field in
real survival.
4,408. And the rivet straight for Rebo.
I can't tell if that's supposed to be Natalie Portman in the avatar or not.
It is.
It's
Is
Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, can you do one of your and like Jim Carrey versus Natalie Portman things? No, okay, it's too late. Never mind.
Jim Carrey versus Natalie Portman.
Well, that's Jim Carrey in the Kasparov
No.
avatar.
I get it. It's just I didn't know where you were going with it, Griffin.
Yeah, you do that thing like just like Jim Carrey versus
no.
Natalie Portman. One of these has a mathematical edge in the hand. Isn't that a thing you do?
No, but it needs to be two things that have a connect. Griffin, bless you for trying. That's all I'm going to say. Just bless you for trying.
It's like Jim Carrey versus Robin Williams. It's like Natalie Portman versus Jennifer Garner.
Oh, there's always a through line of like making sense. Oh, I just thought. Just thought it was aimless nonsense. There's method to your madness after all.
Great contribution
we
from
may
Nick
actually
Walsh.
need Joe.
Just like Jim Carrey versus Natalie Portman, these two things have nothing in common.
I wonder, if they've ever been in a movie together. That would really make this all connect as it should. Jim Carrey.
Let's give you
Natalie
a
Portman.
few key factoids while Griffin does some pointless research. With 7 remaining, everyone has locked up 78.5K, 6-figure scores for the final 6, and as I mentioned a short while ago, more than 628K for the eventual winner. And yeah, it's been 3 grueling days for these guys as well. This started on Sunday, played down to the final table last night. And talking about outlasting a huge field, Joe, shouldn't ignore the low, which is also running right now, which had a starting field of 25,500. That's down to the final 4 right now.
So cool.
Very cool. Okay, so I found a connection between Natalie Portman and Jim Carrey. I know you guys wanted to move on, but I'll share it in the Twitch chat.
Can't believe that this gold that Griffin's discovered is going to be the preserve of Twitch chat. We are returning now to the final table of the high, the 10K main event. And right now we are 4-handed. Welcome Inferno has 77.5 million. Dayan has 52 million. Centaurus 18.7 million. Munzum the short stack with 14.4 million. Back to the action with Griffin Benja and Joe Stapleton.
Adios, James. Enjoy that apple teeny. Welcome, Inferno. Welcome, Yes, crushing. Still smashing faces in. Looks like Dayon from Montenegro, the only player putting up a fight right now. But this is more than enough of a dynamic for Inferno to keep the boot on the neck of the collective field here. With these two short stacks, can really still muscle Dayon around with some ICM pressure. Griffin?
I agree.
Allow me to be the first to say,
Yeah.
check your privilege.
37.
Dayon opening with ace-7. And Inferno decides to let Monza Man and Dayon duke it out.
Joe, I don't know if you caught my Back to the Future riff there before you came back on air, but I wanted to express that we could not do this without you, and I just couldn't think of anything that was relevant that rhymed with roads. So I said, where we're going, we won't need Joe. But it's not how I really
that's
feel.
Fine.
Okay.
That's totally fine. It's all right. Ace on ace here. Top pair for both players. Kicker problems for Dayon. Jordan Ison says Dayon is gonna win. See, anyone can rhyme like Eminem. Ace, ace,
good.
4-4, queen. This is a chop. This is gonna be a chop if we get to showdown. Monza Man. First to act. Like it's a snap call. Do you have a chance to announce the event? This hand ends at a chop. You know what they say, Griffin?
Everyone loves a chop pot.
Griffin, if you hadn't done it like a J off, that would have been perfect.
It's not about how you finish, Joe.
Riff.
It's about how you start. That's
Well,
what the expression
you started and finished pretty poorly. And another top pair on top pair situation.
I got a note from James actually. I don't know. It was. I don't know if you saw. It was a company-wide email. He said, "Make sure that the first chop pot song isn't so good because then we have set the bar too high, and you have to leave room for other chop pots." So that's why I kind of did a little riff at the end, and it was just I didn't really want to go better than an 8 to start things off. Then we can really end strong.
If your goal was to do it not perfect, then you succeeded.
If your goal was to ruin it, you stuck the landing.
Still outkicked. For the second hand in a row, got saved by the board pairing. One hand
Could
ago.
happen again.
It could happen again. Dana says we call that retardando in choir when you slow down at the end. I think that's an accurate description for what Griffin just did. Ooh, this time Dayon lets top pair go. It was the worst hand. Pocket jacks.
The James and Joes.
So we were talking about this, how I always considered myself to be the jack of hearts, right? And James agrees with me. But JH is literally James's initials, and JS, Jack of Spades, is literally my initials.
Oh, interesting. Well, I have always
So it's
considered you to be sort of a jack of all spades.
Jack of all spades is all right. I'm really more of the heart guy, though. You know what I mean? I got a big heart, wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah,
Bleed.
you do.
The lifeblood. The most important. Okay, maybe I should stop there. Joe, how does it feel to be the second best caster in the room? How does it feel to be banned? Thank you for your comment.
Funny, I got plenty more burner accounts where that comes from.
Day on opening, Jack 9 of diamonds.
Which one did I use there? Was that the Suan VR one? Yeah. It's number 46.
Flush draw for Day on in position.
More than a flush. This almost warrants a street flash because, listen, there's a lot of potential for an actual street flash potential, but look at that. It's a straight draw. It's a flush draw. Hey, if there's anyone in the chat that would be against this board right now, you can get out of here. I mean, come back. We need the viewers, but you can, at first, you can leave because that is a good draw. And too big a price for the bottom gut shot. I don't care how many chips you got, Inferno. Welcome to Fold Town.
Day on under the gun, 8-9. Somehow one of the best hands right now. Folds.
But no heart.
Shove.
You don't have to shove, you don't want to, Inferno. Don't listen to him.
The all-consuming Inferno does not simply raise 9 deuce. Does not simply fold 9 deuce. Okay, simply raises. Never mind.
Joe, maybe you should let me do the talking. I also would have said that, though. I'm surprised. Well, it's just Inferno's kind of able to raise close to 100% of range blind on blind and just hope to kind of just get it through. Monzaman, it's going to be difficult for Monzaman to continue with a lot of hands. This is probably actually the bottom of the range. Monzaman would be willing to continue against a 2.5 X raise and actually finding a nice little bluff. So good for Monzaman. Really nice.
Finds the heart, finds the commitment, finds the bluff, takes it down with not much of a hand. Centaurus, ace queen. Is this just a rip in, Griffin? So you can't really get outplayed. You can't really. Yeah, this looks like it.
Yeah, you don't want to raise here. And you know, actually, when you were on break, there was a hand where Centaurus raised on 30 big blinds, and Welcome to Inferno just shoved for like 50 effective to a stack behind with the ace 4 suited. Centaurus didn't even think about it and just folded the ace queen. You know, even recognizing that hands. Oh yeah. So it's just in this situation, 20 big blinds. Let's stuff it in there.
Open ender versus gut shot. Man of Straw asks, has a Saudi qualifier ever won a 10 main event? I will forward the message along to James. Thank you for your question. 1.1 the bet from Inferno. And another bottom gut shot. Folded. Yes, Twin Mac.
Rocksteady 21.
Yep, go ahead.
No, you.
Here's when you point out the mistake that I already pointed out. Again, it's kind of like a joke on a joke. It's kind of like a hat on a hat. Kind of like pie on cake. And as a result, you're banned.
I mean, listen, I'm team Joe in these situations. I will say though, until you have tried pie cake, you really shouldn't use it as an example. Like
okay, fair enough. Okay.
Welcome to Inferno. We got Jack 9 off.
Inferno drops below 80 million. Woof. Ace king for Centaurus. I have a hard time finding the Centaurus, but Centaurus finding lots of good hands.
Mr. Carl is Jersey says, Griffin, don't make me hungry. Dude, you have the actual name of Carl's and Junior in your name. You're making yourself hungry.
Except in Jersey, Carl's Jr. is called Hardee's.
Really? Is that true?
Monza, it is true.
I bet there are groups of. Bet there are groups of like, you know, teenage boys, like high school kids that were like that would love going there, and they'd call themselves the Hardy Boys. That's pretty cool.
The Hardee's boys.
The Hardy's Boys.
Dayon. Jack 8 on the button. Would have run into two better hands.
Doesn't want to mess around with the pretty valuable King 8 off blind on blind, but you can't fault Centaurus in this ICM situation. You know, just a little ladder for $160,000. Such a big ladder.
Dayon opens, ace queen off.
Did I do my demon voice? I didn't just imagine that.
It was more like a Muppet voice. It was more like a labyrinth door handle voice.
One of us lies, one of us tells the truth, Joe.
Welcome to Inferno.
We got ace 10 off. We're going to shove on your open. And you can F off.
Check raise flops. You are able to admit that Griffin is funny. He is funny.
Butcher band. Ooh, the tricky 22 big blinds with deuces. You'd love to just have Inferno open, because then you can just shove. Or fold, to be honest. But with an open, yeah, it's just easier. It's easier.
I think
to
I'd
play
probably
with an
fold,
open.
honestly.
Yeah, but it's when it's folded to on the button there, and you have that many chips, you just open fold deuces. It feels silly, but. Lightning Kiku wants to know if I am still in the high stakes circuit and I have considered playing scoop events. I can't really play scoop events because I am happily contracted to entertain you in the booth. I will be going to the World Series main event, happily playing that. As soon as there's live poker that I'm available to play, I'll love to play that. Playground Poker Club, you know, stuff like that. Live events in Canada, be great. Joe, you have your joke face on. You want to tell a joke?
I do not have a joke in the chamber.
What are you smiling about? Was it one of the memes I sent you? One of the 300 memes I sent you since last night?
It's something like that, yes. Action folds around to the blinds. And Inferno shoves on Monza Man. Inferno with King 6 on the button now. It's going to be raising into King 10. Dayon going to get to see a flop. Dayon, the only player that can do some real damage to Inferno. Unfortunately, does not hit anything, and so that means advantage positionally, ICM-wise, and chip-wise, chippily, is Inferno. $3 million. Nice and big. Nice. Nice enough to get 2 overs to fold. The better hand to fold. The boy, ace-king suited for Dayon.
Well said at that hand, Joe. We've seen situations like that where You know, on those dry boards, even though you really shouldn't have anything, when you bet big, it really puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to fold, you know, the better air. It's like, do I really want to it's just like call down with ace high here, king high here? You can have it. Centaurus ace 3, I don't think would make the mistake of shoving for these 20 big blinds. But, you know, sometimes you're going to be getting raises from the small here. Yeah, it's a fold equity. Oh, no!
Domination situation, but Centaurus hits a 3. Domination rotation. Oh, trip 3s.
Ooh.
3 3s. Trays, and a double up for Centaurus, which makes Centaurus and Dayon evens Stevens.
Oh, I love that one. And now Centaurus got fighting chips. Yeah, I'm finally ready, Inferno. I'm ready to play blind on blind against you. All these walks I've been giving you, guess what? 32 million chips now. I dare you to raise. Trapping you.
Jack, Trey. I'm sorry, this is a monotone board, even though it's a very exciting part of the tournament. Things sometimes get monotone. The only club belonging to Welcome Inferno. Ace high. Still the best hand for now, but Inferno takes it down.
Yeah, not a particularly compelling board with just one club. Pretty monotone. So we're just going to see a bet from Inferno and a fold from Centaurus.
King 9. Raising into Jack Deuce. Easy.
Well, first,
Easy fold there.
the dog.
Deuce 4 for Inferno. Bonza man. King 4 suited. Limps in. Dayon, ace 8.
Interesting comment on Twitch here. Most people in this chat don't even know the flush is better than the straight. Leave the poker comments for pros like me. Joe Stapes. Very right, Joe. But you know what's better than both a flush and a straight?
I don't. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm working on it.
You're supposed to, I queued you up, man. Forget it.
That's why you're not allowed to have the buttons.
Just give me a button, man. Let me try it for a week.
Nope. Seven of diamonds on the turn does not improve either hand. Ace high. Still the winner for now. Still the winner.
What if you
And
give
we'll
me
get a free
yours? I
showdown.
won't tell Dad. Just let me have it for one Sunday melon stream.
Sunday melon, possibly. Right now, we're four-handed in the biggest online poker tournament of the spring.
Okay.
But don't worry, everyone. The summer championship of online poker starts in just 2 weeks.
Monza Man is going to have
late summer
a decision here, Joe, similar to the one that we saw our poor dearly departed Dari Poker with the sevens, actually against the very same Welcome Inferno, who I believe
this is no decision. You got to do it. You got to go. You're the shortest stack.
It's
time
not easy
to fly.
It's very similar to the other situation. You make a very good point. And that is that Monzaman is significantly the shortest stack. And there we go.
We are flipping.
Off to
Seven's
the
holding.
races.
Ace on the turn. No 7 on the river. Monzaman eliminated. Out in fourth place for $444,000.
You can get a lot of mozzarella with that.
Yes, you can. fried mozzarella, buffalo mozzarella, mozzarella salad. You finally got him, says Centaurus. Welcome Inferno. Up to nearly 100 million. Everyone else guaranteed over $600,000. Trip aces for Dayon.
Let's go. Now we're playing for the... I mean, we were playing for real bucks before, but now we are playing for big bucks.
And Inferno can still win this pot.
Don't be ridiculous, Joe.
I don't know. Everything's coming up Inferno right now. There's something about Welcome Inferno I find very intimidating. The Joker thing, the name. Welcome Inferno sounds like something the devil would say to you.
This is kind of a pretty dark-themed avatar group, by the way. We have the Joker, we have the cat Joker, and we have like one of the darkest Pokemon ever in Gengar. Really dark themed. I don't know. It's not like, doesn't match up with spring. More of a Halloween championship.
That's like some sort of gremlin that comes and eats your feet in the middle of the night if you're a misbehaving child.
I think it has something to do with dreams or something. Any of those. Yeah. Listen, I know you guys are out there, you Pokemon nerds. I know you don't want to expose yourselves, but I'm making it cool and relevant. Tell us about Gengar in the chat, please.
Welcome Inferno, about to get a little taste of their own medicine finally. Bets $1 million into what Dayon is going to feel like is the nuts on this
They all have
board
Gengar emojis. They're such nerds. Look at this. Look at the chat. He eats your dreams. Oh, wow. How wholesome. Oh, my God. That's terrifying.
Matthias, you made it all week without getting banned, but sadly, you did not make it to the end of the Summer Championship of Online Poker. Thank you for your comment.
It's a gas Pokemon.
Second pair for Centaurus. Going to be good enough here. Inferno with no equity. There it is. Dead on the turn. 8 of diamonds. Centaurus has got this locked up. Unless we see some ICM cruelty from Inferno. Centaurus is going to be nearly even with Dayon after this hand.
I mean, as the aggressor, you know, you technically have the stronger range. You know your opponent's going to have some kings just as often as aces and plays it as an overbet in the turn and puts so much pressure on a hand like King 10. Centaurus definitely capable of holding true here and sticking with this hand, but it's, I mean, Joe, it's not an envious position. What would you do? Oh, you've already folded, Joe? Yeah, so
assuming I could be somehow like quantum leap teleported into Centaurus's body is the only way I would make it to this stage of the tournament. I'm the kind of person that absolutely makes huge ICM mistakes because I'm like, whatever, man, whatever. I'm not gonna get bluffed off of this, and I just like run into ace 4 here and I'm out.
Well, that's the interesting part, though. Is that Inferno's not betting 7.7 million on the turn, 1.5x pot with ace 4. It really does shrink the range as much as it puts on pressure. It looks more like a nutted kind of hand, like ace queen plus, or, you know, big diamonds or air. And look at that. Would you look at that? Goes for it. And that's how bladed these guys are at poker.
As I said, ICM cruelty coming out of Welcome Inferno. Gio says Centaurus will call for sure. I'm not so sure. You're giving up a ton of dough if you're wrong here. Another ICM bluff muscled by Welcome Inferno. Centaurus down to under 20 million. Inferno up to almost 110.
And that's why you don't throw around the term for sure. Because he did not call for sure. He folded actually right after Joe said it. It's tough out there on these streets.
Inferno. Raisin takes it. Raisin tooks it. Queens for Centaurus. Threes for Inferno.
Might just open shove. No.
Right.
This is very likely going to end up all in. If Centaurus just shoves, we're going to see a fold from Inferno, but I don't think that Centaurus will do that. Has over 20 big blinds, has some room, and yeah, like, oh my gosh, so good. So good. That's not normal, man. Like,
understands.
Yeah, just so good. Because you have to protect all your opens. Sorry, Joe. You got to protect your opens by 4-bet shoving hands like that, or else people can exploit you. But just being aware of enough that this is a really strong spot for Centaurus and getting away from a cooler. Sick.
Dayon opening ace-6 of spades.
Oh, man.
There you go. He's going to make up for the last hand, the full with the trays, by just manhandling Dayon now.
And what do you do in Dahan's seat here? You know, we've seen a lot of 4-bet shoves with hands like this, but in this situation, you're wrong, and you're leaving 230,000 still willing to do it.
Baby!
Yeah, boss.
Dayon, more like Dijon, because he put a little mustard on that one. A7 for Centaurus, a.k.a. the Spraggy. King high flop, good for Inferno. A7, and I got that. Centaurus betting into Inferno, who's probably very confused at this point. What? They're betting into me on top here.
Ooh.
Oh! Well, Centaurus, now would be a good time to leave.
But I don't think Centaurus is going to do it. Question is, does it play as a bet or a check? I would prefer a check here, not just because I see my opponent has what he has, but the only kind of hands you're folding out on this turn, I mean, you're not really folding much out. You're folding out those, like, queen high floats. The queen jack suited, maybe the queen 10 suited. But
you're not even folding out. Oh, wait, hold on. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Joe.
Nope. So you're not going to fold out like a 4 there?
Sometimes, but what 4 is calling from the small blind against a raise on the button at the stacked depths?
Ace 4?
Ace 4 is folding.
Centaurus.
Ace 4 suited, you know, but that's one combination. A lot of the other combos can include 8s and kings.
Well, Centaurus is in big, big trouble now. Lines have just gone up to 450,000, 900,000, which is close enough to $1 million, right, Griff? We can just say that Centaurus has like 13 big blinds right now?
Yes.
Cool.
Human calculator coming out early.
Anyone knows what place did Beruzzi finish? Yes, we do know what place Beruzzi finished. Thank you for your question. Ace-5 for Dayon.
Misa Dayon.
Folds the ace-5. And it's a walk for Inferno.
Doesn't trust Inferno.
Pocket tens for Centaurus. This feels like a rip it in type of situation. 10-10, 10 big blinds. Oh no, it's just a raise. Okay, we want to try to get a little action. Maybe not just get some folds. I see.
You got a bit of room to do something like this. It's a bit of a hard sell, saying that you're gonna have raise folds here, but.
And it's an ace and a 4 on the flop. Tens are drawing to a straight. Miss the river. Centaurus eliminated. We are Centaurus. Out in third place for $600,000. And we are now heads up for the Spring Championship of Online Poker. Hi. Championship?
Hi.
I just backed myself into that one. The championship, the spring championship of online, whatever it is, we're playing for 1.1 million right now. 830,000 for second place. And I would have to say the advantage is Inferno. The mystery
Still a lot of
person.
play as far as chip stacks are concerned. Having said that, I think based on the way that Dihan is willing to make big shoves pre-flop, we've seen it on 2 separate occasions, both with spaded hands, King, Queen of Spades and Ace, 6 of Spades, against the 3-bets of, with sort of caution to the wind sort of scenarios where Inferno was trying to take advantage of the ICM and Dihan risked it all with some medium strength hands. So there could be some big clashes between 2 players that are willing to battle, willing to fight. And no talk of deal so far.
Dayon with a 5 makes the call. Rivers an ace. Inferno contemplating what size bet it would take to get Dayon to fold a 5, to fold an 8.
Yeah. Hard to rep here.
Double.
And even when it doesn't make sense, it's just so hard to defend against. Just 2x pot. I mean, what are you repping there? You're just repping a straight, I guess? Like, it's so hard to make a straight. Like, it was a limped pre-flop pot. You don't have an ace. You wouldn't play a queen like that. So, I mean, take note. Even when the line doesn't make sense, if you bet big enough, even the best players in the world are just going to turn tail and tuck tail and run.
Can you just have a random 2 pair, though, if you're playing every hand heads up? Could you just have 5-8 or 10?
Yes,
8?
but and I know you don't believe in them, but like you block one of those with your 5. An ace probably isn't in the range of what he can have, so he has to specifically have queen 8 and then the straight draws. So let's think about all the different queen 8 combos and then the few straights, whatever, 5-7, whatever it was. There's so many more other just like random hands like the 7-3 that Inferno had, and you've seen his ability and how often he takes the opportunity to bluff. It doesn't change the fact that it's so hard to call, but it's so likely that it's a bluff. But it just you're jailed,
Well, Inferno has Dayon in jail again. Bisho Garcia writes in to say, let's go Argentina. Ugh. I like Argentina. This is not an anti-Argentina statement, but I don't. There's, Griffin, do you want to tell him? Hey,
I don't
you
think
want a
he's
pot.
ready. I don't think he's ready to hear.
Oh, Argentina's in a soccer game. Well, both soccer and poker do involve kickers. So there's something. They both involve flopping. So there's something. Oh boy. Both players with a piece here. Pair of tens and a straight draw for Inferno. Somehow, despite Dayon hitting a pretty big piece for heads up, Inferno still in front. They both involve red cards. That's good. They both involve punting. Mm-hmm. Queen on the turn.
They both involve
faking weakness to your opponent. Okay.
Yeah. They both involve corner kicks. Am I doing this right?
Nope. That is not right. How about they both involve blockers?
Okay. Yeah.
Inferno betting more than half the pot.
They both involve Neymar.
That's true.
That's good.
I actually get you, Dayon, calling with the 9 there. I mean, I don't know. If I hit a flop this hard, I'd probably go broke here when Inferno puts the rest in. We already did kickers, Keith. You're usually very funny and on top of things, but we did kickers already.
I don't know. Outkicked is pretty good, though. I like that. They both involve getting outkicked. That might be that might be the purest one. Did you say outkicked?
So they both involve kickers.
No. Outkicked is like a more polished version of your joke.
Right, the keywords being of my joke. Anyway, here's the bet. Called and paid off by Dayon. Liam Poker says they both involve big scores. That's incorrect. There are no big scores in soccer.
That's true.
Welcome, Inferno, up to 138 million. Dayon down to 25 million.
Joe is very defensive about his jokes around me because I stole his joke book once. You're supposed to comment, Joe. You're supposed to be like, tell the story. I mean, I guess you've already told on the street. You don't just leave the dead air. And everyone's just like, what's
I'm
the
focusing
beef?
on this flush draw for Dayon.
It's a big flush draw. Both involved bad commentary. That's going to get you banned, but it made me laugh. Flush here now for Gengar.
All right, here we go. This could be the beginning of a comeback for Dayon. Man, with as much as... Have we seen a lot of checkbacks from Inferno? Would it be crazy to just see if we can get a bet out of Inferno here? Just check this? Inferno's always betting.
I think you'll see some checks sometimes to induce a 10 to bet or to have your opponent rep a 10. Instead, Dahan, and you can't really blame him so much, went for a smaller sizing to maybe even induce a potential raise, like kind of make it look like you have, a 10 or 2 pair. Either way, I mean, okay, it would have been better if Dahan checked, but can't know that,
Right.
I also want to get value from the pairs and stuff that would all check back. Bet a little third.
Look, it's very difficult for me to remove the hold card information, right? Like, I see the hold card, so obviously, but I just feel like Inferno has given no free showdowns, and that's something I could have picked up on even if I wasn't seeing the hold cards.
Yeah.
King 8 for Dayon. 5-10 suited for Inferno. One spade out there. King high good for now.
Dayan. Ah, fighter of Inferno.
And another spade on the turn. Yikes. So many ways for Inferno to win this. Probably the easiest of which is to bet into king high and win.
Champion of the
Yep.
sun run. Nice.
Nice. See, you helped that joke a little bit. 8-7 of spades.
Oof.
Another hand for Inferno. Oh, baby, here we go. This could be the comeback for Dayan. How does the money not go in pre-flop?
Yeah.
Domination situation.
It goes in.
And just a limp this time from Inferno. Dayan taking a little bit of time. Puts in a raise. And does Inferno decide we're just going to play for the rest of it?
Hushed.
Pre-flop.
Hushed tones in the crowd.
I've been a big fan of Dayan. Yes!
It
It all goes in. Domination situation. 9 high flop. It's a 10 on the turn.
Oh my
Welcome, Inferno. Does not miss this entire tournament. Does not miss this entire final table. Hits every single card necessary to mow down the competition. I believe there was only one player not eliminated by Inferno. I only saw one not eliminated by Inferno at least. Taking down the Spring Championship of Online Poker High Main Event for $1.14 million. Dayan from Montenegro, the hero from a tiny country, the runner-up for $830,000.
2 hours, 10 minutes. What?
Oh, yeah.
Just to be clear, coming into day 2, looked like there was about 5.5 hours of play, and actually it went to near enough 7 hours. Yesterday looked like about 5.5 hours of play. Took about 6 hours to get down to 9. Today looked like about 5 hours of play, and it's done inside of 2 hours and 10 minutes. Incredible stuff, and congratulations to Welcome Inferno, who previously had a 112th place finish in the WCOOP main event, is now a Scoop champion, and of course, having built up that huge chip advantage early doors, no talk of any deals, so gets the lot. $1.1 million. And guys, we're done. We're wrapping a bow on Scoop. Griffin, I'm assuming you didn't expect to be done as quickly as we were today.
No, not at all. But I will say, when you think about all the final tables we've done and what are the ingredients of a very quick final table, it's often a very, very good player that is running really good and playing really well. And that's exactly what we saw today. Yes, and of course, garlic. Can't forget garlic. I mean, you think about those hands, what most people will remember from this final table watching it today was, how good the first place player was playing. But at the end of the day, we saw some incredible bluffs. That 3-barrel bluff with the 6-9 three-handed against the King-10. You think about all the other hands, all the pressure being put on, all the better hands being folded, the 3-bet shove for 30 effective with ace-4 suited, getting ace-queen to fold because of the ICM pressure, all those other 3-bets, getting all these folds. So just incredible work, and it was so fun to commentate for sure.
Absolutely. So Joe, there's still a few tournaments to play out, including the low and medium main event final tables, plus those turbos Howard was talking about earlier on. So we can't really properly draw a line under Scoop until tomorrow when we record our Scoop recap, our Poker in the Ears podcast. Howard's going to join us for that. I know we got one of the players from the main event joining us on the show as well. So we'll record that tomorrow, and that will come out on Friday. And then the three of us will be reunited on Monday. That's right, less than a week to go until we're back in the PokerStars arena. It's back to business with the Sunday Million. No rest, Joe. You don't get a break.
That's quite all right. You know, it's been with a 2 hour and 10-minute final table. I'm actually jonesing for a little bit more poker, so I'll be here. I'll be here for the Sunday Melon.
Absolutely. So, should
And
point out.
Danger Zone. We're going to be talking Danger Zone.
We are indeed. We will be talking Top Gun Maverick because hopefully by Monday all of us will have seen it by then. I should highlight, guys, that we are back to the usual on-air time for the Sunday Million. So Scoop had the earlier start time. Sunday Million is going to be the bottom of the hour. So that's 6:30 UK, 7:30 Central European time. That's 10:30 Pacific, 1:30 Eastern. Obviously, my thanks to Griffin, to Nick Walsh, Maria Ho, Sam Grafton, and of course to Joe, everyone who's been part of the Scoop team, the entire production team, and of course all the people behind the scenes who make these streams possible, and of course who put on the series itself. It's been a fun one. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage. We're back with more next week. But for now, from all the team at the Spring Championship of Online Poker, it's good night from the PokerStars Arena.